And we are ironically in a Chevrolet Impala.
We are.
Except this is probably what people think of when they think of the Impala, because this is a 1964?
1964 SS. It's a beautiful car.
It is a beautiful car. How much did this car inspire the new car?
You know, I would say it's both interior and exterior. Our design team takes concepts, ideas, visual appeal, rather than individual elements, right? They take themes. Mm-hmm. So some of the bright work, right? Some of the interesting, detailed, metal work. Yeah. So you'll notice on the 2014 Impala, the metal has depth to it, and some of the patterns.
Now, you know, the new car is just chock full of presence and style, right? The old car, in my opinion, was a little vanilla. It was kind of bland. It was kind of jelly bean shaped. But this one has a lot of road presence. Did you mean to put a lot more character into the car?
Absolutely. This is a very, very competitive market, the full-size market. So we felt from the beginning that if the vehicle didn't attract the customer,
I'm just looking
from the start.
Yeah, so we're talking about kind of the character of the car.
Yeah, so in the mid-size car or large-size car segment, very, very competitive. One of our goals or reasons for being was to attract people to the vehicle, right? We can't just fit in the crowd. We had to set ourselves apart. So it had to be visually stunning to get customers to come to it, to want to know more about it, to get them to drive it.
Now, I'm going to ask you the kind of the engineering questions now, because that's your job. Let's start with the easy one. Here's the softball one. What's your favorite part of the new car?
My favorite part of the new car is the seating position, the just sitting in the driver's seat with all the control I have, both of the ride and handling of the vehicle and the steering wheel, of the 305 horsepower in the accelerator, and then with the Chevy MyLink system, I've got control within my fingertip reach of all the radio stations, the contacts, all my Bluetooth connecting ability. So I like the control of the driver's seat.
And from an engineering point of view, what was the kind of the pinnacle you had to climb? What was the hardest part of it?
Packaging. You know, the instrument panel has many, just to keep the beauty from the outside and bring it inside. The instrument panel, with its dual cockpit execution, has many pieces coming together. And so it becomes a jigsaw puzzle of executing those parts flawlessly with zero gap, and making them look good with variation, which we know will occur.
Now, talking about the pricing and marketing strategy, it starts at, you know, in the mid-20s, and you can stretch it all the way up into the 40s depending on the model. And
Correct.
there are 3 engine choices. You can kind of walk me through that, the models and the engines?
Absolutely. So the LS model, our base model, comes with the 2.5 liter 4-cylinder engine.
Yep.
It gets 197 horsepower roughly. Really decent fuel economy, a very good fuel economy rather. It's not EPA certified yet. We expect it to be in the 21 city, 31 highway range.
Yep.
So that's the LS model. You can also, in fact, that's the only engine available in the LS model. That engine is also available in the LT model and the LTZ model. The engine that we think will be the one that our customers pick most often will be the 3.6 liter V6, the one we drove today, 305 horsepower. It's the largest naturally aspirated engine in its class. It provides a certified, EPA certified 19 miles per gallon city, 29 highway. And then for the very fuel conscious, environmentally conscious folks, by this fall we'll offer the 2.4 liter Eco model, which is an E-Assist, which will offer 25 miles per gallon city and 35 miles per gallon highway.
Now, one of the things I noticed today on our drive was that, for instance, some of the cars had the tailpipes exposed and some didn't, and it didn't have to do with whether you got the large engine or not.
Correct.
Is that a purpose?
It's stylistically, we wanted to, since we don't have, we're not differentiating except for on the LS model between the LT and the LTZs, since we're not differentiating by engine. We wanted to make sure that visually the LTZ model is set apart. So the LTZ model gets integrated very slimline, beautiful integrated rear tailpipes in the rear fascia. So that's with the LTZ, regardless of engine.
Okay, now the question I have to ask, of course, is since we're sitting in the SS, will there be an SS?
There will not be an SS.
Oh, you're killing me.
We think that the customer who is interested in that kind of performance is better served with the V8 and a rear-wheel drive vehicle, and we will point them to the SS model. Right, we've got a model vehicle, the SS, that's the NASCAR signature vehicle.
The Chevy SS.
Correct. We'll point them to that vehicle in the showroom.
Yeah, and 305 horsepower. I mean, that's a lot of power to run through the front wheels. How do you keep that power from tearing your steering wheel out of your arms with, torque steer?
Well, so we've got electric power steering that helps control it. We've got electronic calibrations in the engine and the transmission to help control it. I'd say for the most part, it's very good basic engineering in the suspension tuning and the electronic power steering to make sure that torque steer is eliminated.
And tell me about some of the kind of safety and electronics. I noticed there was everything that's available on any modern car today. So adaptive cruise control.
Absolutely.
You have a feature where it actually preloads the brakes and brakes the car if there's an accident about to happen. Walk me through some of those systems.
We'll start with the basics. So every vehicle, every standard content, 10 airbags, which is more than the price of entry today. We take care of the front passengers with steering wheel airbags, which we didn't have back in the 50s and 60s, knee airbags, and then a thorax bag for both front passengers, a roof rail airbag for both front and rear. And the rear passengers also get thorax bags in the seat. So 10 standard airbags. And then available electronic safety content that's available in the LT at a very low price point and standard in the LTZ, content that we can all use. My wife relies on it now daily in her driving of the vehicle, and that's forward collision alert using a camera that's positioned up in a module on the windshield. It senses a vehicle in front. If it senses that your speed is going to cause you to come in contact with that vehicle, it'll alert you through audible sounds, and there'll be a reflective LED that you're able to see. There's lane departure warning, so when you get drowsy in a long drive, it'll alert you. There's side blind zone with an indicator in the mirror to let you know if somebody's in your blind zone. We also offer rear camera with rear parking aid, and then a really neat feature that I use frequently, side blind zone, or cross traffic alert rather. So you're in a busy mall parking lot, you're backing out, it will alert you if a vehicle is coming perpendicular to your path. So that's
technology.
A lot of technology, useful technology, though I really think it's technology that everyone can use and benefit from. And then on the high end, we took a step, first for Chevrolet, with full speed range adaptive cruise control. Now this system, up till now, has really only been available on luxury vehicles. It utilizes a radar module that if you set your speed similar to what you would set it with normal cruise control, it will sense the vehicle in front of you, and it'll keep a certain car length distance behind that vehicle. You can choose 1, 2, or 3 gap length. So let's say I'm on a highway, I set it for 70. I'm in the right-hand lane, there's someone in front of me that's slower, I come upon them, it'll slow me down and keep a car length's distance between us. And if I pull over to the left lane to pass, it'll resume and accelerate to my previously desired speed.
And will it stop you? Will it go all the way down to 0? Because a lot of those systems cut off at like 15 miles an hour.
Some of the systems cut off at 15 to 20 miles per hour. Ours goes all the way down to 0. It's great for city rush hour traffic in LA, New York, Detroit. In rush hour traffic, you set it for speed. Usually best to set it a little bit faster than you normally would be going, and it'll keep a car length's distance to the vehicle in front of you and will bring you to a stop. And then when you come to a stop, you simply hit the resume button on the steering wheel and it'll start you up again.
Now I noticed something interesting. The new car is 1.2 inches longer, but there's, I think, 2.2 more inches of legroom in the front and 3.5 in the back, or maybe I got that reversed. How did you do that? Is it better packaging?
Better packaging. A lot of it in the front has to do with positioning of the IP, has to do with seat travels, both full forward, full rearward, and has to do with the leg angles in the rear seat, which if you position the legs just correctly, helps with rear legroom as well.
Yeah, I thought that's like 5 inches of extra room from a car that's only 1.2 inches longer.
Right, very, very efficient packaging.
And let's say somebody's cross-shopping with a Taurus, Maxima, or a Zera, right? These are cars that are in that same.
Correct.
Why should they get the Chevy?
I think there's several reasons. One, visual appeal. I would say the customer who wants to purchase the Impala is someone who is proud of their vehicle, wants to show it off a bit, wants to walk up to it and be proud of it, wants to walk away and will look back and just be very happy and proud that they purchased it, compared to some of the others that really just don't have any visual appearance or appeal. They're more appliances, things to get folks from point A to point B. And in the same price point, we offer a vehicle that is visually stunning. So it comes down to, do you want an appliance for a certain amount of money, or do you want something that's stylistically beautiful? So that's the first one. And then just an array of features that our competitors don't offer altogether. Some have some, but none of them have them all together like we have.
Now, this morning you said that last year you sold 170,000 Impalas, but 70% of those went to fleet. So basically, rent-a-cars, commercial. How are you? It seems like you've kind of taken a direct strategy to change that, because you're saying this is a car that will appeal to buyers, and we're not going to discount it. We're not going to try to sell it to rent-a-cars. And is that something that you think will help you sell more cars, I guess?
Yeah, so, to be fair, the strategy we've employed up to this point was to sell a lot of vehicles, and the profit margin was very low. So we think we've offered a value proposition, that we have a lot of content in a visually stunning package. Because of that content, we're going to price higher, and we're prepared to sell fewer vehicles. We'd sure like to sell as many, but we're prepared to sell fewer, higher value, higher profit vehicles to the right segment.
Kind of taking us back to this car, right? Because
exactly.
this was a car you would aspire to.
Exactly. We believe will be an aspirational vehicle in a somewhat cluttered full-size car segment.
All right, and last question. It's built on a platform that is shared with the Buick LaCrosse?
Buick LaCrosse,
okay.
Buick Regal, Cadillac XTS, and the Chevrolet Malibu.
So will this car be available in international markets as well?
Well, right now what we're planning on doing is selling in the Middle East and Israel, as well as the U.S. and Canada. So that is the extent of our marketing strategy currently.
And when will it be available? When can people go buy it?
The V6 will be in the showrooms in April of 2013, followed by the 4-cylinder a couple months later, and the e-Assist a few months after that.
Well, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Todd. Appreciate it.